Ladies and gentlemen, let everyone you know hear about the latest news. Now, we had Jeff Van Drew, Democrat, New Jersey, who switched to becoming a Trump Republican. The Democratic Party is essentially a very insidious, almost nefarious organization. You're talking about a political party that has engaged in not only a new form of McCarthy-era politics, McCarthyism, but cheated Bernie Sanders, got in bed with Andrew McCabe, Peter Strzok, sometimes literally Lisa Page, that's what I'm referring to, James Comey, James Baker, Kevin Kleinsmith, Clapper, Brennan. I mean, do you want these people in your bed? I don't think so. Democrats are like, hey, come on in. Yeah, get under the covers. De Niro. You want to be in bed with De Niro and Clapper? I don't think so. That is not a good night of sleep. Key Democratic senator remains undecided on whether Trump should be removed from office. Now, you could take it with a grain of salt. It's not exactly Jeff Van Drew of New Jersey. But this is December 22nd, 2019. Washington Post. A couple of hours back, Senator Doug Jones, who won a stunning special election victory in 2017. First of all, the man that he beat should never have been running. So that's an anomaly in a very red state. I don't see him unless, I forgot his name, but unless that guy runs again. But anyway, Senator Doug Jones, who won a stunning special election victory in 2017 and faces a difficult re-election campaign next year, said Sunday he remains undecided on whether President Trump should be removed from office. Now, if they get a senator, a Democratic senator, and honestly, if you're in Alabama politics, why not? You know, I mean, Joe Manchin in West Virginia very likely will, I believe he voted for the last Trump Supreme Court nominee. So, you're looking at perhaps Joe Manchin also of West Virginia, but Doug Jones, if you want any future in Alabama politics, that is the reddest of red states. So what are you doing removing President Trump? And I believe they just hit record low unemployment. And this is a record low in terms of unemployment in Alabama. There's Illinois, California, other states also. There are 5 states that have hit record low unemployment, including the national record of unemployment. So Jones, a former prosecutor and moderate Democrat representing a deeply conservative state that overwhelmingly backed Trump's presidential campaign. Yeah, something tells me Alabama isn't voting Clinton 2020, and it's going to be Clinton, so don't... Oh, it could be... Does anyone on the planet truly believe it's going to be Biden? Even the people voting say, Trump worked with Ukraine. Trump tried to investigate Biden, his direct political rival. Nobody believes... Whatever. Nobody believes Biden's going to be nominee. That's nonsense. Clinton's going to be nominee. And I don't care how or when it happens. Whatever. Jones, a former prosecutor and moderate Democrat representing a deeply conservative state that overwhelmingly backed Trump's presidential campaign in 2016, said he is keeping his mind open ahead of the pending Senate trial following the House's vote to impeach the president last week. He's pulling a Jeff Van Drew, Jeff Van Drew is awesome. He is awesome. First of all, he dresses pretty nicely. The guy has style, and maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm cheesy, I don't know, or tacky, I don't know. The guy knows how to dress. Maybe that's a reflection of me. But check out the way Jeff Van Drew dresses. The guy, he's like, I don't know, there was like a sale at Bijan or something. It's just amazing. He dresses really nice. But quite frankly, I didn't sit in front of the TV set the entire time the last 2 or 3 months. This is hilarious. He's lying. I've been trying to read this. I'm trying to see if the dots get connected. Jones said in an interview ABC this week, if that is the case, then I think it's a serious matter. I think it's an impeachable matter. Well, of course, the dots aren't connected because nobody has proven that President Trump withheld military assistance because he was so afraid of the No Malarkey bus tour. Biden, here, the new emails that came out, check out my segment prior to this, 2 segments prior to this one. Schumer says, there's new emails. An hour and a half after Trump spoke to Zelensky, who, by the way, stated there was no quid pro quo. An hour and a half after Trump spoke to Zelensky, there's an email that states that he withheld the assistance. So what? Who cares? Biden stated that he forced the prosecutor out, and he's on record, he's on video as bragging and boasting. Because everyone says, well, he forced the termination of the prosecutor because of the massive corruption in that country, in Ukraine. Well, that's exactly why they wanted to review the assistance, the military assistance, 300 plus or hundreds of millions of dollars. You believe Biden, but you don't believe Trump. So the new emails show that Trump wanted to review hundreds of millions of dollars being sent because billions were lost under President Obama's administration. Okay. That's the same excuse / defense or rebuttal of people who say, well, Biden had no conflicts of interest. Biden simply forced the ouster of a prosecutor because of the immense corruption. Yeah, that's the ticket. But Jones added, if those dots aren't connected and there are other explanations that I think are consistent with innocence, I will go that way too. I have got to make sure that what I really want to see, though, is to fill in the gaps. I would like to see a full and complete picture. So, at the start of the impeachment hearing, the senators would like to, impartial justice. So, what did I say? Joe Manchin. Joe and other Democrats who represent states won by Trump, such as Joe Manchin, West Virginia, and Senator Gary Peters, Michigan, are seen by top Republican strategists as possible swing votes in a Senate trial. You need 67 votes in the Senate anyway. You don't even need Manchin or Doug Jones of Alabama. They can vote along with Pelosi. Trump doesn't care. Well, he does for public relations. Doug Jones, look, he's a senator in Alabama. It's logical, very logical and rational that he would side with Trump. The issue here, and let me just finish with this. Republicans who are being monitored ahead of Senate trial include, Mitt Romney. The House voted Thursday to adjourn for the holidays until January 7th, throwing in doubt when the Senate might be able to begin its trial. Potentially pushing it further into an election year. Trump doesn't care. He's gonna spin this into a victory as usual because Democrats are so inept. They're even failures at corruption. Look, Doug Jones of Alabama. This is a really, really horrible public relations disaster for Democrats, and I'll tell you why. They already had Jeff Van Drew. He had a meeting with President Trump in the Oval Office, and he was just talking about how Trump is really good for America, which he is. I'm obviously voting for President Trump in 2020. He's a great president. Look at the facts don't lie. Media does, by the way. The same media that some pundits who are running for congressional districts in California, oh my God, the media is so unfair. Well, you probably should have called that out when you were, jumping on the media's you-know-what to go after Trump. So the same people, you live by the media, and your demise will be from the media, the mainstream. So they say, like, oh yeah, independent voices. Well, some voices are independent on YouTube. Some are not. If you hear something on CNN and it's regurgitated by your favorite YouTube pundit, no comment on that one. You do the math on that one. If you hear something on CNN and your favorite YouTube pundit looks at the Washington Post, the New York Times, and says, hey, wait a second, I'm using the sources considered reputable by people who watch CNN, and nothing makes sense here. That is something you should probably, take notice of. And that person who does that, like myself, is either a Trump supporter or leaning towards President Trump. But anyway, Doug Jones of Alabama, big public relations victory for President Trump. Big public relations victory for President Trump. This is another crack, another fissure in the what it does is, how do I explain this? This is it shows that Democrats do not have a united front. It shows that Democrats don't have, Jeff Van Drew just left in the House, but the Senate, one would think that senators would, if Manchin and Doug Jones vote alongside Trump, you can take Mitt Romney and Markowski or whatever. If you have two senators voting alongside Trump in the Senate to offset the two or three senators that try to make a name for themselves and vote alongside Democrats, Trump has won. You have to understand, when you see that Trump's approval rating has increased from all of this, and you see that people are less inclined to agree with impeachment, that's a testament to President Trump's overall, not only approval rating, but ability to withstand an onslaught by media. There are very few politicians in United States history that have been able to withstand this type of, there's never been a moment in U.S. history where media, I don't think there's ever been a moment where media has converged against a certain politician like this. There have been times, look, the founding of this nation, media was all over the place. They went after Thomas Jefferson. They went after, definitely Thomas Jefferson, Andrew Jackson, big time. I just think that with Trump, they're taking it to a level not seen ever. Trump does not have any allies in the media, none. They're all I'm with her people. Clinton's going to be the 2020 nominee. This is all for Clinton. The issue here is that impeachment has been an utter debacle and a failure and a travesty for Democrats. And if you have Jeff Van Drew and now you have Doug Jones of Alabama, yeah, it's a red state. Yeah, but he's a Democratic senator. He needs to vote in line with Pelosi. That's the way Democrats run. They demand absolute obedience and allegiance. Notice how, Mitt Romney, but then nobody calls him a turncoat or traitor. They just, he's an establishment. Republicans don't like Trump. But if you're a Democrat and you're Doug Jones or you're Jeff Van Drew, oh my God, what a public relations victory for Trump. Let everybody know what's taking place. Doug Jones might vote to acquit or exonerate Trump. And when he says, oh, I didn't pay attention to whatever he says it, he's paid attention to everything. He's doing this because he wants to keep his Senate seat. He probably won't, but there's a chance that he will if he votes to acquit President Trump. Give me your thoughts below. This is an absolutely huge and enormous public relations victory for the president. Ladies and gentlemen, this is big news. You don't think it's big news, but it is. Give me your thoughts below. Check out H.A. Goodman's other channel right this second.